Hey
Hello.
everyone. This is Jessica and I'm Johara, and we're doing a Six of Crows live discussion today.
Yes.
We buddy read them not too long ago, and we were talking about that buddy read for a while, and then we finally did it, and finally decided to do this live show so we can talk about it.
Definitely. And we'll probably be sharing spoilery stuff. So if you
Yes,
don't want to be
so
spoiled for the Six of Crows Duology and Shadow and Bone, then just be aware. Yeah, we'll probably spoil some things.
definitely. So you said your favorite character was Annette, right?
Yep, definitely Inej.
She's my favorite too.
uh, I loved how resilient she was, and I loved how sneaky she was.
Yes.
Like, yes. What
And
did
I
you like
love,
about her?
yeah, I also love how, which Kaz mentioned at one point, it's like she didn't let that world that she was dragged into take away her good heart like a lot of people did.
Mhm.
You know, she still believed in a higher power and saints and that and the goodness in people and the goodness in Kaz, you know?
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah,
Jesper's my
definitely.
second favorite. He's funny.
Who?
Jesper.
Jesper. Yeah, he's a fantastic character
Yeah.
for sure. He's definitely the comedic relief. And I really like the interactions between like Jesper and Matthias because they're so polar opposites. Like
Yes.
Matthias doesn't have a funny bone in his body, but then like Jesper's always trying to like josh him on and like give him a hard time.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like everyone gave Matthias a hard time though because of that fact. Even
Yeah,
poked fun at him a few times.
yeah, yeah. He was easy to make fun of.
Definitely.
Were there
Yeah.
any characters that you didn't like?
Besides the villains, out of
Hmm.
the main six, no, I liked all of them. I mean, yeah, there's characters I like more than others, obviously, but
Yeah.
I liked all of the six main characters. How about
Mhm.
you?
Yeah, I liked all of the main characters, definitely. Um, and I'm even like curious to know more about some of those side characters that are crows, like Roddy, and there was
Yeah,
like a few others that we didn't really get to know much about, but they.
they were basically only there to like help with little things, and then they were gone again.
Mhm. Yeah. But then in Crooked Kingdom, like a few of them really came through for Kaz when he
Yeah,
had to like take over the gang. And so it might be interesting to learn more about them a
yeah,
little bit.
that would be interesting. I felt bad for Wyland. Like the stuff he had to deal with his dad, that was just messed up.
Hmm.
And when we found out about his mom, I screamed. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I would absolutely love a spinoff featuring Wylan and
Yeah.
like what he and Jesper end up doing when they live together and like what he ends up
Yes,
doing with his mom. Like I think that would be
I
amazing.
I loved it as a couple. Them and Cass
Hmm.
and Edge, I love. I like Nina and Matthias too, but I love the other two. They were amazing
Yeah.
couples, and I shipped them a lot.
Yeah, there was great tension between Jesper and Wylan like throughout. You just kept waiting for the moment when they would finally kiss.
But that scene with Kui had me screaming. When I found out it was Kui, I got so mad. I was like, "You
Mhm.
cannot do this."
Yeah. Ugh, so funny.
I liked like when they were all about to go their separate ways, Kui makes a comment that Jesper could visit him in Ravka, and then Wyla got so jealous he got angry at him.
Yeah. Yep. They were funny. They were
Yeah,
cute.
definitely.
Who do you think was the worst bad guy? Was it Van Eck or Pekka Rollins or Jarl Brum?
Hmm. That's hard. I mean, they were all bad in their own ways. I
Yeah.
want to. I want to lean towards Van Eck though, because he didn't have any honor for betraying them with his deal, and the way he treated his own son is not okay. So I'm gonna have to go with him.
Yeah, and his
Not having
wife,
balls
like
at all.
what he did to his wife, putting her in that like institution.
Yeah, exactly. At least Pekka, you could tell, cared about his son.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
actually
ended
makes
up.
him a bit better in my
Yeah,
book. At least.
yeah, that's what broke him in the end. Was he was so
Yeah.
worried about his son. That's a good point.
I like that scene where it showed like him at the end, and he and then Inej goes and it threatens him. I
Yeah,
love that scene.
yeah, and I like that she doesn't like kill him.
Yeah,
She just like
scares
tortures him
him.
psychologically.
That's such an Inej thing to do.
It is. Yeah, it's very an edge. Yeah.
What did you think about what Wyland told Jesper about how it might have been his Grisha ability? That's why he's such a great shot.
I think he's right. Like, I think it is his Grisha abilities. And I think in the show, they're playing that up a bit. Because, like, in the show, when they're crossing the fold and Jesper shoots at the Volcra, they kind of show him, like, thinking about the elements of the bullets and stuff like that. Hey, Killo. Yeah, I think he definitely, that could be how he's, because they say if Grisha don't use their powers then they end up really sick, and so maybe like he's using just enough of his powers with his shooting,
but he's doing it subconsciously. He doesn't even realize he's doing it.
Yeah,
like the scene where him and Inej were trying to join the circus with their talents, and Jesper was looking in a mirror and shot that card on Inej. Come on, no, I don't care how good of a shot you are. No one could really do something like that. So I really do think his ability is helping him without him knowing.
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
It would make sense.
And it would make sense too, because he talks about how he always feels so good after he's had a chance to like be in a fight and shoot at things.
Yeah.
So then he always like he feels good physically after.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, I definitely agree. Go over there and ask her. Okay, thank you. But yeah, so at least we both agree on that.
Yeah, definitely. What did you think of Matthias's transformation?
Like his character growth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I like Matthias. He's different. He's more of the strong, silent type.
Mm-hmm.
But I like how he started trusting them. I know one scene that had me cracking up was when Kaz was like, "What's the easiest way to poison somebody?" And then they all said something like, "Knife to the throat, gun to the head, poison." He's like, "You're all terrible." And then later on, they do a similar thing, and they all looked to Matthias, and they were like, "This is the part where you say we're all terrible."
Yeah.
We'll throw back to that, but that was funny.
And it's interesting how he grows too with his attitude towards Grisha.
Yeah, definitely. He hated Grisha so much. And then when he thought Nina betrayed him, he thought his, what he was taught was right. And when that scene when we thought he betrayed Nina, that had me screaming. I was like, what?
I know. I messaged you because I was like, oh, I can't believe he just did that.
It turned out to be a big ploy. And I was like, I was so relieved.
Yeah, definitely.
What did you think about...
Go ahead.
What did you think about finding out that Jesper technically was the mold, but he did it subconsciously? He didn't know that he helped the enemy.
Oh, yeah. He did it accidentally when he was gambling, right?
Yeah.
I felt bad for him because I
too.
don't think he would have ever purposefully done that. And I think that he just, he's got a gambling issue, and
Yeah, a bad
sometimes,
one.
yeah, when there's that addiction kind of takes hold, I don't think he always thinks clearly.
Definitely. But
Yeah.
I like when he went off at Kaz in the second book. He was like, "How long am I going to pay for this one mistake? How long have I had
Mhm.
your back in battle?"
Yeah.
Because he never would have harmed them on purpose. He blamed himself for what happened, for Inej almost dying and getting kidnapped,
Yeah,
because it was his intel, but it was an accident, and he blamed himself. So he was already hard on himself. He didn't need Kaz to
yeah,
be hard on him too.
yeah. And you could tell that he really loved at least both Kaz and Inej, because there was
Yeah.
points where I was like, is he in love with them? Because like he just was, he'd get so upset if they got injured or anything
I think
like
he's just a
that.
really good friend with them.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, you can tell he just really cares about them a lot and feels a lot for both of them.
Yeah. I like the trio they had before, the other crows joined.
Hmm.
They knew each other for a little while before the other crows joined their team. And
Yeah,
and despite the fact that they, like Kaz and Inej, could be a little bit closed off, at the end, all three of them did care for each other.
for sure. And I think that Kaz is really hard on Jesper because he cares about him. He feels like the only way that he can help Jesper is to try to be really hard on him so that
Yeah.
Jesper doesn't keep going back to the gambling and stuff like that. And that's like how Kaz shows he cares.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting with Matthias when he was thinking about the Grisha. Like, because Matthias is very religious, right? And so he thinks that Grisha are like an abomination to his god. But then as his character develops, then he starts to think that maybe they're actually like miracles.
Yeah.
Um, and that was such an interesting evolution of his character to kind of watch happen.
I felt like all the characters had a good character development, like
Mm-hmm.
Kaz. I mean, but at the beginning, he would never have dreamed of touching anyone, hardly with his glove, let alone without. And then at the
Yeah.
end, he ends up holding Inej's hand without his glove,
Mm-hmm.
and Jesper learned to take things a little bit more seriously. Wylan
Yep.
grew more confident.
Yep.
I feel like everyone had such an amazing character development in just 2 books.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it was, for me, it wasn't, that was my favorite part of the books, was the characters
Yeah.
and their relationships and their growth.
Yeah.
Like the plot felt like secondary to the characters.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. The characters definitely were the main point, and their relationships, and watching the characters grow and become
Mm-hmm.
like a family with each other. Like, when I'm still shocked that they killed Matthias, and
Yeah.
that was surprising as heck, and how they all felt that grief. Even though they
Mm-hmm.
technically hadn't actually known Matthias that long at that point, besides Nina,
Yeah.
they all felt the grief. It wasn't just her. They all cared about him.
Right. And they had each had like situations where Matthias had helped them, like get out of a bind or help them work through a problem or something like that. And they,
Exactly.
so even though he didn't know them very well, like he was still there for them, and they
Yeah.
really are like a found family.
Yeah. And it was like that with Nesh too, when she was almost killed near the beginning, and then when she was kidnapped at the end of book 1. um I mean, and everyone felt upset that she was hurt when they were heading to the ice core, because if it wasn't for her, they wouldn't be heading there anyway. She saved them all by
Mm-hmm.
sacrificing herself.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
they
Yeah,
really,
I think that they would have gone and saved Inej even if there wasn't like a cash reward involved.
yeah,
Like
definitely,
Inej in her head was thinking, "Oh, they're only coming for me because they're also going to get like money out of it." But I think they would have anyway.
definitely. I like what Cass said, because Inej makes a comment about if he would have come for her, and he was like, if she couldn't walk, if she wasn't the Wraith anymore. And he said, I would come for you, and if I couldn't walk, I'd crawl to you. And it was such a sweet scene.
So romantic. Yes. Oh, those two. That was the only reason that I didn't give Crooked Kingdom 5 stars, was because I wanted some like big, major, explosive, like final romantic scene with Kaz and Inej, and we didn't really get that.
I was a little disappointed by that too, but if you think about it, that was a big step for Cass.
It was.
So, and it would have been a little bit out of character to have a big scene at that point, because he still was trying to get himself ready to be the person Inej deserves. So I kind of understand, but I still wish we could have gotten more of a scene with them, like we did with Jesper and Wyland. When they finally kissed, I was so happy.
Yeah, definitely.
And I loved the difference between the kiss with Kui and the kiss with Wyland, because Jesper, when he kissed Kui, thinking it was Wyland, he was like, this isn't how I imagined the kiss. Something isn't right. It's like subconsciously he knew that wasn't Wyland. And then when he kissed Wyland for real later on, he could feel it. He could feel the heat of the kiss, the passion, and he knew that this was the kiss he was waiting for. This was the real Wyland. It was such a sweet scene.
It was so sweet. And I loved how supportive Jesper was when they go to see Wyland's mom. And like how he just is like the rock for Wyland as he's struggling through that. And it's so sweet.
Yes. I love how he ended up stealing a small painting of Wyland too to help when they brought it back.
Yep.
And Virginia was tailoring him, and he makes comment about how the appearance should look, and Wyland was like, I didn't know you were paying attention. On such little detail too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely. I like that, like, Lee Bardugo's able to show you that, like, they love each other without them actually saying it. You know, it's like in all those little details and all these little scenes and interactions that shows how much they care without them actually, like, vocalizing it. That was pretty genius.
Definitely. Especially when it comes... And she did that with both couples, but it was especially prominent with Kaz and Inej, since neither one of them were ready to say anything, because they're both very shielded and guarded. And it was just amazing that you could see the love between them without them saying that they love each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What was your thought when you read the end of book 1? Like when you find out that that Vanek was betraying them, and then Inej gets kidnapped. Some way to end book 1.
I was very worried about Inej.
Me too.
And I was shocked that Kaz was willing to work with Pekka Rollins to go get her.
Hey, but that just proves how much he loves her.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it when Kaz is usually so smart, but at that one moment, he let his guards down and he looked towards Inej, and that was the closing. That's when Vanek realized how much Kaz loved Inej and went after her.
Yep. Yeah, and
I don't think it wasn't just Jesper's fault.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's funny. What do you think about Nina's new powers after she took the Param?
It scared me a little bit for Nina, like what was going on. Like it's kind of like she became a drug addict, basically.
Yeah.
And she was trying to get more, and it was insane. And I was worried about Nina. What would happen if she did end up taking more?
I really liked seeing Matthias be like a caregiver to her while she was going through withdrawal and stuff like that. But I was amazed at how strong she was through it. Like she
Yeah.
had some weak moments in there, like any addict will have, but like she's like the only one who's ever made it through taking the drug, and that's kind of amazing. Just shows her strength.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Do you want to do what?
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask if you wanted to do a sprint.
Sure, we can do a sprint.
How long do you want to make it?
I'm game for whatever.
So how about 20 minutes?
Sure, that works.
So it'll be like 41.
What are you reading?
I was gonna read Six of Crows. King of Scars. It says Six of Crows.
Me too. That's what I'm reading.
Nice.
King of Scars.
Awesome. Happy reading.
Yeah, happy reading. How did your sprint go?
It was good, yeah. How about yours?
Good. Got about 10 pages read.
Same. I'm not very far. I've only done a couple chapters so far. I'm on chapter 3.
Nice. I just started chapter 5, so I'm not that far ahead of you.
Nice. I think we can finish this by the end of the month. We finished the other ones. We usually don't even start until near the end of the month, and we still end up finishing it by then.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what do you think you'll end up rating this? Do you think you'll like it as much as Six of Crows?
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it like Shadow and Bone or even more, but I don't think I'm gonna like it as much as Six of Crows. I really love that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to top Six of Crows. Yeah. For sure.
I'm kind of liking Nikolai and Zoya's relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
What are you reading today? We would love to know. Have you read Six of Crows? Because we're talking about that a lot today.
So, what did you think of the atmosphere in Six of Crows? Like the setting and the...
Wow.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. They traveled a bit, so they weren't always in the same place, but it mostly took place in Ketterdam.
Yeah. I liked it. Ketterdam to me feels like old London.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Charles Dickens era London is what it felt like to me.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It was different, interesting.
Definitely.
Well, we highly recommend it. We both ended up loving it.
Yes.
We're both currently reading King of Scars, which is also part of the Grishaverse. We've been buddy reading, so that's been fun. Six Crows was my very first buddy read, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
What did you think about the big heist, the ice courts and all that?
I thought the ice court was a really cool setting. And I liked like the party atmosphere, like it's kind of like a masquerade. I liked that. I thought it was really interesting the way that they like planned out the heist and everything. That's always so interesting to me when a writer is able to plan a heist like that and make it believable, where there's like challenges within it that are believable and it's like not too easy for them to pull it off, and like
and even the most skilled characters found trouble here and there, you know. Cass, Ned, they all found trouble where their skill set was strongest, because even though they're very skilled, it doesn't mean they're going to be flawless at every turning point.
Right.
Like the when Inej was on that tightrope wire thing trying to undo the silos, you know, she struggled. She got attacked at the same time, but still, you know, it was interesting to see that struggle. Even though that's something she's really good at, it doesn't mean she's going to be perfect at it all the time. It showed that these characters are also flawed, and I really like that.
Yeah. And even like the best of them, like the best planner and thinker and schemer, Kaz, when they first start the initial heist at the ice court and they have to go into the carriage with the bag over their head, like he freaks out, and like even he couldn't plan for that, you know,
Yeah.
and he's like the best one out of all of them.
Exactly. He even fainted.
Yeah.
So I really like that. They all had their demons they were trying to deal with.
Yeah. Definitely.
It made it more real. Maybe that's also another reason why we love the characters and their relationships so much because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all flawed. And they're better together than they are individually.
Yes. When they work as a team, they are unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
It was just at the beginning they had to learn how to work as a team because Matthias didn't trust any of them, and none of them really knew Nina that well yet either.
Yeah. Or Wylan.
Yeah, so I kind of consider the Six Crows like a spin-off of Shadow and Bone. It's in the same universe, just a different storyline and different characters that it follows. But there are some Shadow and Bone characters in Six of Crows later on. And then King of Scars is part of the Grishaverse as well. It has a couple of the Shadow and Bone characters and even a character from Six of Crows. So
And the timeline kind of builds. So the Six of Crows timeline picks up where the Shadow and Bone one leaves off.
yes.
So.
And then I think King of Scars picks up just around the time Six of Crows leaves off. So they're all connected and they're all part of the same universe. But still, the storylines itself are a little bit different because different things are going on during those time periods.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really good. We've been enjoying the Grishaverse for the most part.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on how they're adapting it in the TV show so far?
I really liked the TV show. Yeah. Yeah, apparently from what I read, they've already casted at least a few characters from season 2, like Nikolai, Tamar, Tolia, and they even casted Wylan.
That's exciting. I know you sent me the link that said they started filming.
Filming season 2, yeah. That's exciting. I can't wait.
Interesting. Yeah. I haven't finished season 1 yet, but
And I
I am
feel like
on like
sorry,
episode 7, I think,
oh
and it's good.
yeah, I loved it. I watched like it all in a short amount of time, and I loved it so much. It was so good, and I feel like I was a little worried because I felt like I'm so glad they brought in the crows because they are my favorite part of the Grishaverse. But at the same time, I was afraid that it would cut out some of the important things in Shadow and Bone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but I feel like they still did a great time incorporating Six of Crows in it, and I feel like the casting was phenomenal. Most of those characters are exactly how I picture them.
Yeah, same here. I thought the casting was really well done. And I like how the Six of Crows timeline is really different from the books. And you had mentioned that it's showing what happened before the books actually start.
This is
So,
before Nina and Matthias joined them, because like where it was showing Nina and Matthias's what's going on with them. That was supposed to be the
mhm.
flashbacks in Six of Crows, which how they met and all the
Yeah.
bad things that happened to them. And
Mhm.
they haven't met Wylan yet or anything because this is what was going on during Shadow and Bone. This is before Six of Crows
Mhm.
started.
Yeah. That was some creative writing.
Yeah. But from what I hear, they're planning on making Netflix is planning on making a Six of Crows TV show too, which is supposed to be following the Six of Crows books, which I'm excited for.
So that would be separate from the Shadow and Bone show?
Yes. I don't
Okay.
know if they're gonna have the Shadow and Bone characters in it like they did with
Right.
Shadow and Bone, but I just know that what's going on with. I don't really know much about it. I just heard about it a little bit because I don't even think they've started, planning it much yet. All I know is that they're planning on making a Six of Crows show, and it's supposed to be from what happened in the books.
Cool.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear. Apparently, some people did have issues with how they casted Nina because apparently she was supposed to be a little bit more on the bigger side, and they casted a skinny actress.
Interesting. I guess I wasn't really paying that much attention when I was watching the show. But yeah, I guess in the book they do talk a lot about her being like very curvy. I'll have to pay closer attention when I watch.
But with like Inej and Kaz and Jesper, they were amazing. The cast
Yeah.
was. Oh, I'm so happy with how the casting turned out.
Yeah, I especially like Inej. Like that's exactly how I picture Inej. For sure.
Definitely.
So, did you like Six of Crows or Crooked Kingdom better, or did you like them about the same?
I don't know. I mean, there's things from both that I like. I'd say it's about neck and neck, honestly.
Yeah.
With Shadow and Bone, I'd say the third one was my favorite by far. I mean, both the first book and the second book, I almost rated 4 stars, but then the endings I loved so much with what they did at the end of both books that it bumped it up to 5 stars. Honestly, it might be more 4.5 stars, but Goodreads doesn't allow that. So,
Sure.
But the third book I loved. I read it in one day.
Yeah, I remember.
So yeah. But with
Yeah.
Six Crows, both books are just so amazing. They're kind of neck and neck. How about you?
It's hard to say, like, because, like you said, I like both books for different reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I liked in Six of Crows, I really like origin stories. So, I really like kind of the origin story of all of these characters. But then I really loved seeing the relationships and the characters develop in Crooked Kingdom. So, I think, I love them both for different reasons. And yeah, it almost feels like I can't really separate the two books very well, like because they're so cohesive and the storylines just continue one after the other. It almost just feels like one really big book with a break in the middle. Whereas like the Shadow and Bones, like they definitely felt like different books.
Yeah. And I liked what you said earlier about how like Liva Dugo's good at like showing how much these couples loved each other without them saying it. I feel like the show also did a good thing with that, especially with Kaz and Inej, because that is a big part of the relationship. They and like just looking at each other and the intensity and the chemistry, and I feel like the actors did such a good job bringing it to life. And I can't wait to see them do the same thing when Jesper and Wyland meet.
Yeah, I think that Jesper and Wyland will be really good. I really like the actor who plays Jesper. I think he's just really nailed that role.
Yeah, definitely.
Like his comedic timing is perfect.
I love the whole how he keeps bringing up Milo the goat. And no one ever remembers Milo's name. He's like, Milo the goat! I liked how on the show Kaz was willing to risk everything and was like gave Helene that collateral to help Inej, and it was just I love their relationship in the books, in the TV. I feel like the actors did such a great job at bringing it to life.
Yeah. Definitely. Is there anything that you would have changed about the show?
I'm not sure how I feel about them making the Darkling more human, because I just feel like it was so important in the books for you to know that the Darkling was the villain. Because I know a lot of people shipped Alina and Darkling. I have to admit, before I realized how bad he was, I kind of shipped him. But to be fair, we didn't get that much of Mel in the first book. And so I kind of liked them together until I realized who he really was, and I realized that that Mel does care about Alina, and I feel like they shouldn't make the Darkling more human because he is the villain for a reason, and yeah, so
Yeah, they definitely humanized him in this show. Like, I don't remember learning about his background with like someone he was in love with or anything like that in the book. Like in the
Yeah.
book, he really is just straight bad.
Yeah. But to be fair, in the book, it's also in just Alina's point of view.
That's
So
true. It's a good point.
we can't find out anything that Alina doesn't know. And
Uh-huh.
in the TV show, it's a little bit different. That's one thing I did like. Like you get to see Mel more and see how much she really cares about her. And they really upped Mel's character, in my opinion. And I loved
Yeah.
how they dealt with that.
Yeah, they definitely improved Mal for sure.
Yeah.
And I think with TV too, like sometimes TV viewers need like that tension to be like sometimes they need the love triangle to really stay hooked in and
I hate love triangles. That's the one trope I hate.
you hate them.
Yes.
I like them if they're done well. If they're too cliche, then nah, I don't really like them, but I think they can be fun depending on how they're done.
I've never watched or read about a love triangle that I actually liked.
Yeah.
I feel like I just feel like it's so. I mean, yeah, sometimes you can be confused about your feelings, but I just feel like deep down you should know which one you like more. You know, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of times love triangles are pretty toxic too, because it like the two people who want to be with that third person are always fighting at each other's throat. Actually, there is one love triangle that I did not hate. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen Legend of Korra.
Mm-mm.
It's a spin-off to Avatar: The Last Airbender, but
Okay.
there was one love triangle in that I actually didn't hate. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I didn't hate it. Um,
Mhm.
Basically, there's a love triangle between Korra, Mako, and Asami. Korra liked Mako from the beginning, and Mako started dating Asami, but realized he had feelings for Korra. But even though Korra and Asami both had feelings for Mako, and Mako didn't know which one he wanted to be with, Korra and Asami weren't at each other's throat. They became friends despite the fact that they were both in love with the same boy, and they didn't let that hostility ruin their friendship. And then neither one of them ended up with Mako, though they ended up together, which I love. I ship them, but I love that twist as well.
That's
They just like ditched the boy and went off together in the sunset.
that's amazing.
Yes, definitely. But um, but I didn't hate that love triangle just because it didn't have that. I think that's one thing that annoys me the most about the love triangle, you know? And I also feel like
Yeah.
a lot of love triangles have the middle person, after they finally choose the person, they always end up backtracking, at least a lot of them that I've seen, and start to want to be with the other person again, only to choose the person they chose in the first place at the end. And I'm like, really? What's the point of all this?
Yeah.
I feel like Disney does that a lot. I was watching some Disney shows, and I feel like Disney does that a lot.
Kinda. I think so. I think yeah, I could see it. If you could see a spinoff on any of the characters, what would you want to see
I love
first?
the idea of a Violet, like you mentioned, Violet
Yeah.
and Jesper. See what's happened with them. That would be interesting. I would also like to see more of Kaz and Inej to see how their life went on afterwards.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe a prequel with Inej would be interesting. Like
Yeah,
her life as an acrobat before she goes to Ketterdam might be kind of cool.
yeah. Becoming a slave in the first place and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was one thing in the a TV show that I didn't remember in the books, but maybe I just missed it. But Inej makes a comment when she almost killed the conductor about having a little brother that was taken too. I don't remember her mentioning a brother on the show
No, I
in the
don't think she
books.
does. She has sisters in the book.
Yeah, I didn't remember her mentioning a brother in the book. So I was like, did I just miss that or something, or do I just not remember?
No, I don't think she did.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Yeah, and all the flashbacks, she really focused mainly on her parents and not even
Yeah.
her sister. So
Yeah. So was there any change in the show that you hated?
well, I haven't finished it yet, but I agree about the Darkling, though I can understand why they might have humanized them and added like that layer in.
I think that was also for the viewers that haven't read the books. You know, because a lot of people, there are people out there who don't want to read the books because they're not readers and they just decide to watch
Yeah.
the TV show instead. And they might have done that to draw in a new crowd to, with that intensity between the Darkling, Alina, and Mel.
Yeah, I think it does help add some of the background context of the story too. Because, like, if you haven't read the book, like, you go and watching the show, you don't totally really understand what the Grisha are or like where they came from. And so,
Yeah.
like, having that background in there kind of helps set some context for viewers too. I don't know. There's not anything that I would change in it yet.
I can't wait till you watch the last episode. I loved it.
Yeah, I'll have to let you know when I get there.
Yes. I love the fight on the fold. They did do it differently, but I won't spoil anything for you.
Okay.
But they had to do it a little bit differently because they had to add the crows and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind when TV and movie adaptations aren't like exactly like the book. Like, I think it's okay for a movie or TV director to kind of make it their own work of art, you know?
Yeah.
Just so long as it's not like too far.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's okay if it's not exactly like the book because it's gonna be hard to get it exactly anyways. But I do feel like sometimes adaptations go a little bit too far from the original thing, and that's why a lot of people end up hating it. But I feel like Shadow and Bone did a good job with the changes, but also keeping it true to the actual, thing. And for apparently, from what I've heard, Lee Bardugo was there, helping on set and stuff. So she was probably there
Cool.
to make sure that everything wasn't too far off from what she wrote.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm always curious if they let the writers do that because I've heard sometimes they really don't want the writers involved because the writers are too attached to their original story and they don't want, you know, but that's cool that they let her.
Yeah, I feel like you should let the writers because they're just trying to make sure it's good for the fans of the story they created.
Mhm.
And I mean, I know J.K. Rowling was on the set of Harry Potter a lot. The movies actually started before she even finished writing the franchise, and
Yeah.
I read something saying that she actually told Alan Rickman how Snape's character arc was going to end. So so he like played certain scenes a certain way, and the directors would ask him why he played them a certain way. And he was like, he just basically said that he knows something that they don't because the directors didn't even know how Snape's character is going to end.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but that's also why Percy Jackson movies are so hated because Rick Riordan had nothing to do with the movies, and
Huh.
apparently they were. I haven't actually read the books yet. They're on my TBR for this year, but apparently I did see the movies though. But apparently the movies are nothing like the books. They changed almost everything.
Interesting. Yeah, I've only read the first book. I haven't read all of them, and I've only seen the first movie. So,
That's why they stopped making the movies. But apparently Disney Plus is going to remake the Percy Jackson movies, or I think they said something about making a TV show. I don't know, but they're readapting it. But this
interesting.
time Rick Riordan will be there to make sure it's not terrible.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know with Twilight too. People don't really like the Twilight movies all that much.
I
I
don't
like
like the
them.
books or the movies. I don't like them at all.
I like them. She was on set. Stephanie Meyer was even in one of the scenes in Twilight. She was like a background character in a restaurant or something. But yeah.
I forgot her name. The director of Pretty Little Liars was in a small scene.
Oh, was
Pretty Little
she?
Liars. Do you remember Arya and Ezra's wedding?
Yeah.
Um, they got interrupted because someone's phone was ringing. I think it was the photographer's. That was her.
Really? Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to double check that. I'm rewatching the show right now, so when I get there, I'll have to pay close attention.
Yeah, my sister's almost at the end of it. She actually watched it before I did. She told me that Holly Marie Combs was on it, and that's why I decided to give it a chance because I already loved Holly Marie Combs from Charm.
Yeah.
So I decided to give it a chance, and then she stopped watching it, but she's recently started watching it again and finally finishing it.
Cool.
Yeah. I love that show. I really want to buy it since they took it off Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to buy it. I watch it all the time. It's my favorite.
It's definitely up there for me.
Yeah.
But Six of Crows became a favorite of a book from last year, and the TV show became a favorite of mine as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I really did like what they did with the TV show. I feel like there were some things that they did better, and I just really liked the direction it went.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious with how they're gonna handle season 2.
Yeah, I'm really curious as well. And then I'd want to know. Yeah, season 2 will be interesting, especially if they're going to do a Six of Crows spinoff, like to see where they leave off season 2, if that's when they're going to start the Six of Crows one.
Yeah. I wonder if Matthias will even be on there since he'll be in Hellgate at the time.
I don't know. He might not be.
I know in the books, when Kaz asked Nina for help, Nina said that I asked you for help to get Matthias out a lot, and now that you want something, you want to help me get him out. I wonder if we're gonna, because on the last episode there is a small scene with Nina looking at the crows, and I wonder if they're going to show that, like show Nina trying to convince Kaz to help her get Matthias out of prison.
Maybe. Could be. I have someone at the door. I'm going to step away just 1 second.
All right, that's fine.
Okay. So here's a question. If you had to be best friends with one of the crows, who would you be best friends with?
Huh. That is an interesting question. I'd say either Inez or Jesper, not just because they're my favorites, but also because I just feel like they have a lot of heart. You know, even though Inez tries to shield herself away and stuff, and Jesper seems to Jesper has his own set of balls through like humor and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have a lot of heart, and they care, and they would protect you and stuff, and be there for you. And yeah, what about you?
I think Nina and I would get along really well. Like, I like how sassy she is, and she's like bold and loves to snack. And I'm like, we would snack on toffees and just have like a grand old time.
I have a question. If you could be any Grisha, what would you be?
Oh, I would be either a healer or a tailor.
Nice.
What about you?
I want to say a healer or a heartrender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think those, because aren't those similar skills? Like you have that skill and then you become either a healer or a heartrender. I think Nina had said something about that in
I
one of
think
the
so.
books.
Healers heal you, and then heartrenders. Technically, heartrenders can go either way. You know, they can calm you down and
Mhm.
and feel your heartbeat and stuff, but they can also, use that ability to kill you.
Yeah. Yep.
So, if you had to pick one of the crows to be your enemy that you had to try to survive from, who would you choose?
Oh man. Well, I think you're a goner no matter who you go up against. But um maybe Jesper? Because I could distract him, maybe. I yeah, but then he'd shoot me. So I don't
I
know.
think
I think I have the best bet with Jesper. Or maybe Matthias, because I could appeal to Matthias's honor.
I choose Wyland because he's not as skilled in those aspects, and he also has a lot more heart than a lot of them. He
Yeah.
wasn't really ever built for that life like they were.
That's a good choice, actually. Because his main skill is just like designing pyrotechnics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
He
his
doesn't
brain
actually
is his
kill
biggest
people.
skill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a good choice.
Jesper commented a lot of times that he was a prince that turned into a pauper. He kind of fell into that life and he never really belonged.
Yeah, for sure. Um, if you were captured like Inej, which of them do you want to save you?
Hmm. Nina's Grisha ability would come in handy, but Kaz can be really ruthless, and
Yeah.
if he wanted to save you, he would stop at nothing, and he's very smart, and he knows how to go, you know, do certain things and has certain skill sets, and so I think I'd go with Kaz.
Me too. Because he's so good at like scheming and
Yes.
predicting what could go wrong and then planning around that and
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. If you had to do a journey across the fold and only could take one of the crows with you, who would you bring? I think I'd go with Jesper for this one, just because he never misses a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Jesper too. Yeah, for sure, Jesper.
Yeah.
Or maybe Wyland, because he could like blow up the Volcra. Sorry, my boyfriend's coming home, so they're going crazy.
You're fine. But I know in the TV show, Kaz made a comment at Jesper about how he asked for an explosives expert on everything. I think that was kind of their introduction in bringing Wyland in for season 2.
Yeah, I did pick that up, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring Wyland in."
How many dogs do you have? 2? I knew it was like 1 or 2 around there. I've never really had any animals growing up, any pets or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, my mom was never big on pets, and neither was I, to be honest.
I had cats and fish growing up, but now I've got like all kinds of animals. So,
Fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing this. I think I mentioned that I have another YouTube channel where I talk about like TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
I'm playing a video with my mom and Alyssa where they watch the first episode of 10 TV shows that I love, and they have to kind of rate them based on just the first episode.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I excluded shows that one or both of them have already seen, because I
Uh-huh.
know I had to exclude Buffy and Charmed, even though those are 2 of my all-time favorites, because my mom has seen them both just as many times as I have. I had to
Yeah.
exclude Supernatural and Asami because Alyssa's seen both of them. I ended up having to exclude Pretty Little Liars. I really wanted to include that one because neither one of them has actually seen it, but I don't own it and it's not on Netflix or anything anymore.
Right.
So I had to exclude it because I just couldn't do it. But one of these shows I chose was Shadow and Bone.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Have they watched it yet?
Not yet.
I told you I watched
Oh, well,
the first 6 episodes.
Alyssa says she watched the first 6 episodes, but then she stopped because she didn't know that it was actually a book series at first, so she stopped watching it because she wants to read the books. She plans on borrowing my copies of the books once she finishes the series she's reading.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be a fun video, and I'm really intrigued on their comments on that show because I've been talking about the books and the show a lot, and they're both very annoyed with me. I reference it every chance I get.
I'm going to send her to rehab.
They keep telling me they have to put an intervention on for me because apparently I have a problem.
Your mom said that. I said rehab.
I don't need to go to rehab. This is not a bad addiction. It could be a lot worse, right?
Yeah.
I could get addicted to Juniparum.
You could. Or it could be like a book series that's really bad. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like Twilight. That would be even more annoying.
I hate Twilight. I do. The books and the movies.
What do you hate about it?
Just everything. Bella and Edward are terrible. Not just the actors that played them. I mean, Robert Pattinson isn't a bad actor. I liked him as Cedric on Harry Potter, but I don't think he played the role of Edward very well. But and Kristen Stewart is just a terrible actress. And I hated the love triangle. I hated most of the characters. I think the only characters I didn't hate were Alice and Jasper. I really liked those characters, but that's about it.
Fair enough.
What do you like about it?
For me, it's more of like a comfort read because I read it at a time in my life like I was engaged and then the engagement was broken off, so I was like very down. And that Thanksgiving, I read like the whole series over Thanksgiving as like an escape from everything.
Yeah.
And I think just because like it got me through a hard time, so like now I really like it just because of that. But I fully acknowledge it's not a perfect story. And there's some really bad like relationship dynamics in it, and like some of the writing isn't great, but it definitely has a special place in my heart though.
Well, then good. You shouldn't be ashamed of anything you like. If it brings you joy. That's one thing I'm strong about. Like, people always talk about like what's your guilty pleasure, but I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I just feel like you shouldn't feel guilty for something that brings you joy. So what if the story isn't that great? If it brings you some sort of joy, who cares? Who cares if it's made for kids? If you like it, then it doesn't hurt them if you like it.
Right.
That's just kind of my feelings.
I'm trying to be more like that. I have some like internalized literary snobbery that I'm battling. Just because like I've spent so much time in like academics, but like since joining BookTube, I've really started to just like embrace what I like and like not be ashamed about it. And yeah,
I feel like life's too short to care what other people think. If you like something, so what? There are some things I like that give me funny looks because they're for kids.
sure.
Like, so what? It brings me joy for a half hour a day, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
It's true. It's true. And like you said, it doesn't hurt anybody to like what you like.
Exactly. But do you have a guilty pleasure? Something you are guilty of, even though you know you don't have to be?
I think the closest thing would be my Pretty Little Liars fandom. Like I love the show so much. I've seen it so many times.
I
And
love the
I've read like 8 out of the 16 books, and I plan to finish reading the books. And like,
I'm not a
even
fan of the
though,
books.
yeah, like the books aren't perfect. They're not, what I would call great literature, but I really enjoy them just because I love the show so much.
Uh,
So I think that would be like the closest guilty pleasure that I have.
nice.
Yeah. How about you? Even though you said you don't have any guilty pleasures.
Yeah, I don't have any. I know I watch things that people might make fun of me for. I know my mom gives me some weird looks for a couple of things I watch because they're for kids. I'm like, so what? I'm a kid at heart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like them. I'll watch them without shame. Heck, I would go outside on my roof and scream from the rooftops that I like this show. I don't care.
Good for you.
I've, I, I just, I think I've always been like that. I know a lot of people, especially when they're younger in middle school and high school, they care about what other people think, but I just never have. I don't care what people think about me or anything. Like, I know I used to, on the bus to school, I would be listening to music with headphones in, and I would be in my seat alone, and I would just kind of jam out a little bit to myself. And I know my sister and her friend told me that there were a couple of girls like making fun of me back there because I was
Mhm.
like all jamming out to myself, and I was like, okay, so that's their problem, not mine.
That's awesome.
Which, yeah, I mean, I was bullied a few times, but I just shook it off because that's if they want to if they are so close minded, then that's their problem. It's not mine.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Have you ever had issues like that growing up?
Yeah, I mean, grew up in a really, really small town, and I graduated with a class of like 30 kids. So, very
Oh,
small
wow.
town. And my family was kind of outsiders in the small town. And, like, just in general, we got kind of ostracized from things. Um, but yeah, I mean, you just learn to shake it off and move on with your life, I guess. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure uh I was bullied a few times because I was like that because I did things like jam out in my seat while listening to music
mhm.
because I didn't care what people thought of me, and I was different because of that. And I feel like
Mhm.
people didn't like that. Like how in TV you would see people like not liking whenever someone would stand up to the bullies or something. I think it was
Mhm.
kind of like that.
Mm. It
I
sounds like
also
you always had like a good sense of self.
Yeah, I mean, my mom always said that the one thing she admires about me is the fact that I have always known who I was, and
Hmm.
a lot of people don't. Most people
Yeah.
don't, especially at certain ages, like high school age. They
Hmm.
don't know who they are, but I always really have known who I was and what I loved. I've always
Yeah.
loved reading and writing, and now I'm a published author, so
Yay.
it was all worth it in the end.
Yeah, definitely.
So, how's your reading year going so far?
Not bad. I've had a couple books that I really liked, and then a couple of DNFs. So it's been
Oh,
kind of across the board. Some good, some great, some okay. How about you?
pretty good so far. I haven't DNF'd anything yet. I've only finished a couple books so far. I want to try and finish a few more before the end of the month. I have been writing a lot, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to find a balance between my writing and my reading. Um,
Hmm.
but I just finished yesterday, I think it was, or really early this morning. I finished a book. I read it all like within a few hours, and it was only like 240 pages. It wasn't long at all, but it was
Yeah.
a sequel to a book I just finished the other day, and I really loved both books. I rated them 5 stars.
What were they?
Bewitched, Gnaws, and Magic Below.
Okay.
It's basically about Ziri Greenapple, who finds out she has magic, and her 2 best friends, and then her crush's little brother, all start practicing their magic together, but they have to do it in secret because magic is illegal in Oz. But then,
Oh,
when one of her friends gets kidnapped by flying monkeys, they have to go find Glinda to get her to help and hope that she's on their side. So yeah,
nice. So it sounds like a Wizard of Oz spinoff.
yeah,
Cool.
it's really good. I enjoyed it.
Have you ever read the original Wizard of Oz books?
No, I have watched the movie, but I have not read the books.
Yeah. I haven't either. I'm going to read them this year, though.
Yeah, I saw that on one of your recent videos.
Yeah, my series about series
Yeah,
one.
that one.
And
Are
then
you
I
excited
have
about them?
what?
I said, are you excited about them?
Yeah, I am excited. It's actually a pretty big series. There's like
Oh, really?
9, it's either 9 or 12 books in the series, which I
Oh,
think is
wow.
a lot longer than what I was expecting because I just know like there's the 2 movies. So I wasn't expecting there to be so many books.
Yeah. Wow. I've never seen the second movie. I've only seen the original.
Yeah, the second one is Return to Oz,
I've heard
and
of it.
it's like it's interesting. It's very like psychedelic and yeah, very different from the first one.
Hmm. I know one of my sisters, she's really tiny for her age, and so I like to call her Munchkin, and I would always end up singing that. I'll be like, "Well, we welcome you to Munchkin Land," and she gets very annoyed with me, but it's hilarious.
That's cute. Come here. Come on, Bubba.
But yeah, on Bewitched and Oz, they kind of take a little twist with it, and um, you see the wizard and Glinda, and there's also Princess Ozma, and then
Yeah.
Dorothy is mentioned. They call her Dorothy the Explorer, but you never meet her.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's really good. I like it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
There's only 2 books, but they did leave it off with the possibility of a third, but they never made one.
Gotcha.
At 30 after, do you want to do another 20-minute sprint?
Sure. We can do that.
Awesome. Are you enjoying King of Scars so far? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I am enjoying it. I like seeing Nikolai again, and it feels like in terms of like the vibe and the writing and everything, it feels a little bit more like Shadow and Bone again, kind of like back
Yeah.
in that universe, that era, that I don't know, that vibe, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
I'm liking it. Yeah, I'm not very far into it yet, but I'm intrigued with what's going on with Nikolai, and I'm kind of liking Nikolai and Soya's relationship already.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah. What were you about to say?
Oh, I was going to ask you how your writing is going.
Oh, it's going good. Yeah.
Good.
I hope to publish my Jasmine Press prequel on February 28th.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm almost done with it, so it won't take long.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, it's 9:30, so we'll read until 50.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Happy reading.
Yeah. How did your sprint go? I think you're still muted.
Better?
Yep.
Okay. It went really well. I'm on chapter 3, Nina, and it's really good. It's really sad how she keeps thinking about Matthias. It's making me sad because
I know.
I still can't believe they killed him off.
Yeah.
How's your spring going?
I was chatting on Discord. So I didn't get anything read, but got some chatting done.
Nice.
Yeah. So what do you think about them killing off Matthias?
That upset me. I mean, when he got injured, I thought he was going to survive. I didn't think he would actually die, you know? And
Yeah.
but I thought it was really sweet how he dragged his body to Nina because he had to see her before he died. That took a lot of will.
Yeah.
And then Nina didn't want to let him go. And then they were all mourning him because he did become a part of them. And it was really sad. I cried.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was heartbreaking because like he had just like gotten out of the Hellgate, right? And like the whole reason he was going on along with all of this was that like once he got through it all, then he and Nina were gonna like live happily ever after, and like
they can start bringing their people together and not be enemies.
Yeah, and then he never got his happily ever after. So sad.
I mean, he died in Nina's arms, so maybe that was his happily ever after, just to be with her in his dying moments.
Good point. Good point. What do you think of Nina's power to control the dead?
That was interesting. The Judah Param really messed with her, and
Yeah.
I kind of liked the way her power grew like that. And I'm interested to see her do something within this book.
Yeah, definitely.
If she still has that power, it might have worn off. I don't know. I'm not very far in
I
the book
won't spoil it. I won't spoil it. Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting thing, and I'm wondering like if what's his name? The guy, his son, who they rescued from the ice court, if he's going to show up at all in Rule of Wolves, since he was able to like escape to Ravka.
Yeah.
And see if like he'll have like a cure for it or anything like that. But yeah, it's a really interesting twist of her skill.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if any of the other crows will show up at any point to see Nina.
Yeah.
Nina and Inej got really close, being the only girls in the group.
They had such a cute friendship.
Yes, I liked it. And I kind of want to see more of it now that Nina's a main character in this duology.
And maybe Inej will show up because she was gonna get a ship and like travel, and so maybe she'll make an appearance.
Yeah, I would like that. I mean, in Six of Crows, we got to see some Shadow and Bone characters, so we should get to see some Six of Crows characters in this one.
Yep, I hope so.
Since they live in Ravka, and we're probably going to see a lot of Ravka and see a lot of Shadow and Bone characters because of that. I hope we get to see some David, because I really do love David.
Yeah, he was your favorite in Shadow and Bone, right?
Yeah, I loved his character.
Interesting.
I was so happy when I saw him on the TV show. I started squealing. I was like, David! And I love this scene when they were at the winter feast, and Jenia looked back at David, and then she looked away, and he kind of smiled while looking at her. He was playing cool, pretending like he wasn't looking, and then when she turned away, he looked at her.
Yeah, he's so like awkward and cute.
Yes, I know, I love it. And that's like I said, that's one thing I did like about the TV show, because since the book is in Alina's point of view, we only knew things that Lena knew,
Yeah.
and like we don't even find out that David had feelings for Jenny until he brings her up in the sequel when he's upset that she stayed with the Darkling, and
Mhm.
Alina's like, I guess Jenny's feelings weren't one-sided after all.
Yeah.
But here we get since it's not just in Lena's point of view, we get to see that David does care about Jinya at this point.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
I feel like that was an improvement.
Yeah. And I think part of what made Six of Crows so good was getting to have the different points of view
Yeah.
too. Like every chapter was a different character instead of it being
Exactly.
first person.
Yeah, and we got to see all the main characters' point of views from one point and another, and I really like that.
And it looks like King of Scars is going to be that way too. Like every
Yeah.
chapter is a different point of view, which I like a lot better than just the one.
Yeah. Third point of view is actually my favorite.
Yeah.
I still like first point of view, and I still read it and stuff, but I do prefer third because we get to see so many other characters than just that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So, how do you think King of Scars what direction do you think it'll go in?
I don't know. All I know is that like Ravka is really struggling financially, and that like Nikolai turns into a monster at night.
And Zoya is trying to keep him tame.
Yeah.
I find that funny because Zoya is so not tame herself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like at the beginning they're trying to kind of make it seem like there's some romantic tension between Zoya and Nikolai, but I don't know if that's like how it will end up. I don't know. I think a big part of this story will be about figuring out how he can either like stop transforming at night or be able to like tame himself when like control himself when he is he calls it the demon or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you made a comment that Kui might show up and rule wolves with
Yeah.
cure for Judah Pura. Maybe he'll find a cure for Nikolai's problem as well.
Hey, that could be. That's a thought for sure.
He could come in and just save the day.
I could also see Nina and Nikolai becoming a thing, because in Crooked Kingdom there was like a little spark between them that happened, and I was like, I wonder. And then Matthias died, and I was like, okay, well, it's gonna be Nina and Nikolai.
I don't know about that. I don't think Nina will ever love someone the way she loved Matthias.
That's true. That's a good point.
And I do like the idea of Zoya and Nikolai, just because Zoya is so fiery, and then Nikolai loves to tease her, as we're seeing.
Yeah.
Beginning. And I'm kind of, even though I'm still at the very beginning, I will kind of do want them to get together. I think it'd be kind of cute and interesting. I think they'd have a weird relationship, but a good one nonetheless.
Yeah. Do you have any predictions?
I don't know either. I mean, we don't know. I don't exactly know what this story's leading to. I mean, in Shadow and Bone, it was all about, Lena stopping the Shadowfall. In Six Crows, it was about the heist. I'm not entirely sure what this one's supposed to be yet. All I know is that I'm guessing it has something to do with Ravka again, kind of like in Shadow and Bone. Like you said, that it might be more similar to Shadow and Bone. But I have a feeling the three of them, Zoya, Nikolai, and Nina, will have to do this big mission or journey to save Ravka. That's my only prediction.
Yeah, I could see it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, when we finish the King of Scars, we'll do a live show on my channel, chat about it.
That'll probably be beginning to mid-March, since we
Yeah.
can take an entire month, and we won't even finish World Wolves till end of February. So it'll probably be
Yeah.
beginning to mid of March.
Yeah. Yep. That sounds good.
I mean, it's the middle of January right now. It's the 15th. We're halfway through.
Yeah, exactly halfway through.
Exciting. How's 2022 treating you so far? Hopefully it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's been fine so far. It's
Good.
we had a big snowstorm this week, but it was kind of cozy and nice, and yeah, nothing too big either way, which I'll
good.
take that. Like I'd rather have like a normal day than a bad day.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
so
Yeah, it snowed last night. It's the first snowfall of the season. Illinois usually snows, like the big snow usually comes a little bit later. Like I know
Yeah.
some places snows in October, November, December, but where I live in Illinois, the big snow usually comes closer to February and March.
Yeah, we usually get it like January, February here. So
Nice. Where do you live again?
Iowa. I'm your
Okay.
neighbor in
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah, I knew you were like in the same time zone as me, but
Yeah.
and I know we talked about this before, but I totally forgot where you lived.
Yeah, that's okay.
Iowa's not too far from Illinois, right? How long is it?
No, they're right next to each other.
Oh.
So it's
One of
like
these days we can meet.
yeah. It's only like a 4-hour drive to Chicago from where I am. So
Nice. Mm-hmm. I've never actually been to Chicago. I know it's the one place everyone thinks about for Illinois, but I've never been there.
Yeah, that's okay.
Most of my life, except for the time I was living in Florida, I lived in Charleston, which is where I live now.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I moved a few states when I was younger. I know I was born in Decatur, and then I moved to Findlay for like a few months. But I've mostly been here, and then I moved to Florida, and then I moved back.
Gotcha.
Have you lived in Iowa your entire life?
No, I've lived all over the Midwest and like Indiana and Illinois and Ohio. So,
Fun.
yeah. Exciting times. Well, I should probably get going for the night, but this has been really fun.
Yeah. Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for hosting.
Of course. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.